Hello and welcome to this new channel that I have created. So my name is Victoria of the Spiritual Herb, and I have been working with holistic therapy and psychology alongside my gifts of mediumship and tarot, to be able to help empower people to heal. Empower people on a journey of self-discovery, helping people to understand themselves more. I believe that the questions most people ask are not really the answers that they're needing to hear. It's just the answers they're thinking they're needing to hear. In this channel, I am going to be focusing solely on empowerment and healing. My questions always will be focused on and around how can you learn to heal from certain aspects within your life? How can you learn to bring up certain things within your life that you don't know you need to face? The majority of people that I work with have so much in their subconscious that they don't know what it is they need to face. And the reason why they're feeling stuck, or the reason why they're feeling disconnected, is because they're not bringing these things to the surface. They're focusing on what they think they need to know. So in this Pick a Card this week, I am going to be focusing solely on what energy are you in within your life right now. We all have an energy that can last between 3 to 6 months. These are transitional energies that we flow in and out like seasons. And when we flow into this energy and we don't know what energy this is, we can become stuck. And this means that that energy is prolonging suffering. Because unless you learn from what each part of your life is about to bring you, unless you work through it and heal it and acknowledge it, you will be caught in suffering. Because you will be caught in, it shouldn't be like this, it shouldn't be this way, I want it to be different, I want an outcome to be different. So pick your card and allow yourself to be drawn to which card you may be drawn to. Bearing in mind, you may be drawn to more than one pile, and that is absolutely okay. This is a collective reading, so there may be some things in this reading that you might not be able to quite take, and some things that you can. Just know this is extremely normal. We are reading for the masses here, so it's important for us to bring forward all of what it is we see. Namaste and happy healing. Hello to card number 1. So we're going to be looking now at what energy you are in right now within your life. And then we're going to be pulling some other cards to broaden this story, to help you understand what you need to lean into, what you need to learn, and what you need to grow from. Right. So you have the Lovers card, and instantly the energy that I feel that you are in right now, pile 1. Sorry if you can hear my dog snoring. The energy that you are in right now is the energy of learning to trust yourself, as well as learning to trust others. You have, pile 1, potentially been through so many things with other people that you have started to lose trust for people around you. I feel that you are consistently and constantly doubting yourself. Is this friendship genuine? Is this relationship right? Is my parents really there for me? There's always an element of distrust with those around you. Because you have been hurt in the past, and because you have been through things in your childhood what has led you to not always feel maybe heard or validated. So now what happens is, when you have friends and relationships in your life, you're always on guard. You're always preparing for, what if they lie, or you won't even know that you're doing this. You will just doubt the connection, looking out for lies, looking out for inconsistencies in the friendship. And you, again, won't know you're doing this. But the reason why it happens is because underneath, you have been taught internally, and you won't realise you're doing this, to look out for potential hurt. Your psyche and yourself has been through so much that it's always looking to protect itself. And actually, It's going into overprotection mode. It's going into the mode of creating problems where problems may not exist. But then also, at times, bypassing problems that do exist. Quite often at times, I feel you may go against your intuition because you want to be close to the person. And then other times, you over-connect to what you think is your intuition because you're feeling slightly insecure. And I have to keep reiterating, you don't know you're doing this. The signs that you are doing this are you will pull away from friends and people. You will shut down. 1 minute you're all in and spending time and loving, and the next minute you're not spending time with people, you're pulling away. You'll have consistent or repetitive thoughts of, well, they don't bother with me. They haven't rang me. You will feel in the relationship as if sometimes it's push and pull. And again, that's the signs that you have potentially attachment wounds and not you knowing exactly what you are doing. You're being asked in this energy to start healing your connections with others. This firstly means you've got to start spending time with people in a more genuine way, allowing yourself to connect to the conversations and time that you're spending with them. Allowing yourself to put your phone down and have meaningful connections with people. So going and spending time with them, not rushing in to get it over and done with and then running home or doing your errands. Actually making time to spend with people. And when thoughts come in, thoughts of, well, they don't bother with me, they haven't spoken to me recently, they haven't answered my text quick enough, or thoughts of, they must be lying to me. Oh, sorry about that. I had to put the dog away because the dog was barking at the door. This is about healing connections. This is about challenging those thoughts you get when you are believing that somebody doesn't care about you or making time for you. It's about asking yourself, how much time do you make for that person? Are they potentially busy and not always going to get back to you straight away? Recognizing that people are busy. Recognizing that sometimes we have to accept our friends for who they are, learning to love the parts about them we love, and learning to turn a bit of the focus off of the things we don't like about them. But also learning to trust those intuitive feelings you get when something does feel off in a friendship. Whether you're going to say something about it or whether you're going to learn that it's time to step back. But whatever it is, you're in the energy of now needing to heal connections because this is something that's been ongoing. I feel that you may meet other people that are wanting to have friendships, but maybe sometimes you push them away. And the only way, that's the way you think you're protecting yourself, but it's not. It's allowing yourself to heal whilst being in connections. Now, there's absolutely some connections we don't want. You know, if you're in a friendship where somebody's drinking all the time and doing stuff that you don't align with, then you're gonna know that maybe you're on different pages. But as you get older, learning to enjoy the friendships that you can for what they are, knowing that lots of people have busy lives, but also recognizing maybe you overgive. Maybe you overgive and you always put yourself out there for others. So when they don't do the same for you, it feels hurtful. Recognizing when you're an overgiver, you will have higher expectations for people. So it's about stepping back and recognizing your own needs and recognizing that you can't meet the needs of others all the time. Having a balanced friendship where you enjoy time together, but also, you know, because some people can be all or nothing, where their friendships, they spend all their time together and then they fall out or they get angry about something they don't know how to deal with, so they pull away. It's about recognizing to communicate, to air how you feel, to build genuine friendships, knowing what friendships you want to be a bit closer to, what friendships you want to let go, what people are not the healthiest for you. So working on connections will really help you if you keep keeping toxic people around you, but also not recognizing your own behavior. You will consistently be surrounded by unhealthy people. So what's the energy in pile one's life right now? Wow, absolutely. It's the energy of working towards a bigger goal. not allowing your anxiety and your thoughts to cloud your judgments with people. You, Pile 1, love people, whether you believe that or not, but you have just been so wounded by so many people that now you're scared, whether you know that or not. Allow yourself to start healing your heart. Start working on your heart chakra and working on, sorry, I'm just going to get a drink of water. Working on opening your heart chakra, maybe doing some YouTube heart chakra meditations. Learning to heal your heart from the pain that you've already been through. Because otherwise you will keep replaying that pain and bringing more people in who will hurt you. The truth is, people always have the ability to hurt us because everyone deals with things differently. Everyone faces life differently in their emotions. And so many people don't mean to hurt people when they pull away. You may not mean to hurt people when you pull away. Quite often what you see in other people and things that hurt you in other people is the very things you do yourself. Allowing yourself to create a period of newness, bringing happiness in, connection, rebonding. This may be in family. Maybe in family there has been disconnections because of pain that's happened. Learning to heal that and also learning to rebond in a healthier way can really help you, because keeping bonds around you where you continue to punish your parents or punish family members or punish people around you by always hating on them or being angry with them or turning on them or pulling away from them, that's really going to continue to poison you, because you're going to end up carrying lots of hate. You're going to try and keep a connection that you don't know how to change. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you have to forgive everybody's actions and what they've done to you. But unless you're kicking them out your life, you're going to have to find a new way to manage the relationships. Because if you're not choosing to walk away from them, you've then got to choose to heal them. Because and healing them doesn't mean you always heal with them, the bond, the hurt. I mean, it can be going back to them and working through the pain with them and telling them how you're hurt. But it could mean that you start to heal the hurt yourself. Start to heal from the pain and the things that family members or friends have inflicted on you. So that you can start to bring in relationships that you're not going to struggle in. And quite often this can mean that you can build a bond with family, but while recognising you have to take a step back. You can love people for who they are, but you can also dislike their behaviours. Two in the same thing can exist. You have grown so much, Pile number 1, and you have recognised a lot. And you are recognising a lot. And I do feel that there is a family split here, or a split in friendships that has hurt you, that has led you to feel isolated or pushed away. But this is asking you to recognise that while you have grown so much, just constantly growing alone is not going to help you. You've got to now heal and grow with others. We can't change family members and we can't change friends. We can only change how we face things, how we heal from things, what we accept and what we don't accept. Now is the time for your inner child and yourself to start embracing these connections, embracing the energy of newness. Maybe joining groups, maybe joining a spiritual group or groups of like-minded people, maybe connecting with old friends, maybe learning to let some things go. There's one thing to have requirements in friendships and connections. Requirements where actually there's certain things I don't want to be treated like, I don't want to be spoken to like that. And then there's another thing to have expectations. With every expectation there will always be a disappointment. Because if we expect people to be a certain way, they're going to fall short of that. Just like if people expect you to be a certain way, at different times you're going to feel pressure and you're going to fall short of that. No one is perfect, including you, including me. And when we start accepting that we all have flaws, Some greater than others, granted. Some more toxic than others. But you have to take your power back now, Pile 1. At one point you have been a victim of hurt and pain. You have been a victim of people treating you poorly. But now, Pile 1, you can take your power back and start to realise that you have a choice. You have a choice in who you connect to, who you spend time with. You have a choice in what you will and won't accept. And only you can go along that journey of finding the strength to implement that. It's not easy when we start saying no to people or when we start stepping back. But as soon as you get used to it, as soon as you start to get used to that uncomfortable feeling, you will start to really embrace the fact that you have so much more power than you believe. So let's have a little look at what may be coming along this energy for you. That's what's coming in along this energy. Wow. Pile 1. Growth. Growth is what's coming. The energy of moving forward, the energy of taking your power back, the energy of looking at your past and realising, yes, you was a victim, realising there was a lot out of your control, but now starting to realise you don't need to chase your tail no more. Healing from the past is not about it's not about bypassing it or pretending it didn't happen or just focusing on the here and now. It's about reflecting on the past and the things that's happened, understanding what you've learned from that, and then choosing to use that as growth. Use that as resilience. Pile 1, you are going to come into a stage where you start to really recognise what is right for you and what isn't. And I do feel that you're going to not just allow anybody to come into your life. You're going to really have your eyes open and be aware. But one thing I do want to say is don't become stubborn. When we go through pain, we can become stubborn to the fact that we don't want to let anyone else in our life, we don't trust people. So it's going to be beautiful if you can start to see people's behaviours for what they are and start to learn a bit more acceptance. But don't allow it to make you stubborn. Don't allow it to make you go, I don't want any more friends, I don't want to have more connections. But what will be coming for you if you do heal this is satisfaction and happiness, connection. Humans believe that they can be lone wolves all by themselves forever, but the truth is you can't. Connection is one of the most vital things. Everyone has to heal. Now, you don't have to be around people all of the time. You don't have to always be social. You do have to learn to incorporate connections with people, even if it's minimal, even if you're an introvert, even if you struggle in people's energy. You still have to learn to a certain degree, because that is the fulfilling part of the human connection and race. That is the fulfilling part of the spiritual journey. Connection, community, connecting to like-minded people, building a sense of community, feeling loved and spreading love. Pile 1, I hope that you can take that energy guidance for this period in your life. Please do leave a comment if you can, or what you can take from that. Let's build this new community in its healing, and I'm hoping that I will see you in future readings. You can find me on TikTok and Facebook under the Spiritual Hub if you are interested in any other of my spiritual work. Thank you. Hello, Pile 2, and welcome to your energy card. This energy card is a card that the energy will either be in for 3 to 6 months, or it's an undercurrent of energy that is holding you back and radiating for you to heal. Understanding the energy that needs to be healed within us, or energy that we are in, can greatly empower us on our growth journey, on our self-awareness journey, a journey of peace and happiness, which is what this channel is focusing on: healing, growth, empowerment, You think you need certain answers, but the truth is you need insight into yourself. You need connection to self to know what it is to bring forward. So the energy that is either undercurrent or not in for you right now is the energy of boundaries. And one thing I want to say, that when you're looking at these cards, you may know a bit about tarot. I do not read in a generic way. I read very intuitively, and I read from what I connect to. I feel for you, Pile, one of the key lessons in your energy right now is you have to teach people how it is you wish to be treated. You have to start standing up for yourself. I feel for you, Pile 2, you have maybe been in a energy of feeling like people take from you, an energy of always feeling as if you've got to be the one that supports people, you've got to be the one that is always there, and this is leading people to keep taking from you and taking from you. The truth is, people will only take as much as you give. So it's not as much about as stopping other people from taking from you. It's more about teaching yourself and learning to stop giving too much of yourself. And you will have been so used to giving so much of yourself that whenever you try to not give too much of yourself, or you say no, or you put boundaries in, you will feel not a good person. You will feel like you're letting people down because you've been conditioned to overly give. Now, card of healing is telling me there is 3 particular people, whether it's children, whether it's other people that are not completely reliant upon you, but that cross your boundaries quite regularly. It could be 3 friends. It could be a mixture of friends and family. But there are 3 particular people that, and I would say two are very, very close, and 1 you feel indebted to for a reason. So 1 could be an ex, or 1 could be a family member you don't see all the time, but when you do, you're always overgiven. 1 could be a work colleague that it's not too close to you, but so that 2 is close friends, close family, and then there's 1 that's a little bit more detached. But there's 3 particular people that, and never mind the people, it's the energy in general, the energy of overgiving. Your heart has, I almost want to say that there's potentially 2 children, or 2 friends, or 2 family members. Definitely 2 almost take a lot from your heart because you love them so greatly, or you're so connected to them that you don't know how to put in boundaries with these 2 people. And you are being asked to recognize that this is taking more than you have. This is coming, if it isn't starting that now, it will in the future. It will take more than you have to give. And it will create frustration within you. It will create feelings of, well, what about my life? Sorry, I had to take water. When I talk a lot, my throat dries. This could be that you have 2 autistic children, or 2 ADHD children, or children with disability. It doesn't matter solely about who they are. But we often believe we have to give that level of ourselves to us because that's what they need. We disempower, and you, Pile 2, potentially disempower people around you, because instead of teaching people, and this is not a fault of yours, this is not something that you are bad for, this is something that you've just learned. You've learned to be an overgiver, but that does disempower people. It stops people from having to support themselves, it stops people from having to show up for themselves, it leads people actually in a state of victimhood, like they always have to rely on you or someone else. And this is not allowing them to develop the ability to meet their own needs, the ability to learn to stand up on their own 2 feet. And even children with disability, I keep feeling this, there's bound to be somebody within this pile who has an autistic or ADHD child. We as parents and family and friends limit how a disabled person shows up, because we believe in our heads that they have they do have limitations, but everyone has limitations. And quite often when you're a mother or a father of a child with a disability, we overcompensate because there's guilt there. We overcompensate because we feel that that's what that child or person needs. But the truth is, we need, as parents, to be teaching any child, whether they're disabled or not, to step out their comfort zone, to find what their strengths and weaknesses are. The weaknesses that we believe our teenage children have or older children have can actually be greatly reduced when we start allowing them to explore. And many people will say, well, they need me to do that. Well, how do you know that they can't do that on their own? How do you know, without encouraging them, without you also stepping back and allowing yourself to disconnect? How do you know that they can't do that? There are so many people with disabilities or with complex needs that learn to live a life that's completely thriving, because instead of being restricted through fear, they are encouraged. And parents aren't bad. Hello, Pile One. I thought I was recording, but it turns out I wasn't. Thankfully, I looked at the camera and noticed it wasn't recording. And I'd already been part way through your reading, so that's why it's turned over. So welcome, Pile One, and welcome to this new channel that I have created, Victoria Bedford of the Spiritual Hub, to bring healing and awareness and self-growth, which I find is quite lacking sometimes in the tarot world. I feel sometimes in the tarot world we focus a lot on, you know, what's coming for us, what do you need to focus on? But really the real questions we need to ask is, what do I need to learn in my life right now? What do I need to heal from? And what do I need to grow from? So this is what this channel is about: healing and personal growth. Pile One, you have the Tower card. And this Tower card is coming because you're in an either existential crisis or an internal crisis. And a crisis of self. A crisis of who am I, what's the meaning of life. This has potentially been going on a while. This makes me feel that you may have been in low-level depression or level of in and out of cycles of really deep emotional downtimes. There's a part of your inner child that has grown up in an environment that was not conducive to a healthy adulthood. And what I mean by that is, when we've grown up in environments where parents have been preoccupied, unfortunately, with their own mental health or their own wounding, which is so normal. Parents who have had money problems or splits, or parents who have lost somebody. Parents who may have been abusive. Parents who may have shouted a lot. Emotionally unregulated parents. When you've grown up in an environment where a parent hasn't been, for whatever reason, attuned to your needs, this will create an adult who is emotionally unregulated, so shuts down for periods of time and then blows up, who doesn't know how to face anger, who doesn't know how to face or deal with their emotions and say how they feel. This will lead to people being depressed and disconnected, suppressing emotions and feelings. And this is what I feel you are, card 3. I feel, and this is again not blaming parents, but I feel, card 3, that you are in and have been in an energy of challenging. And everything is being challenged because it's time for you to grow. It's time for you to learn to heal. This may be through therapy or groups, or this may be through online courses or researching emotional regulation, emotional disconnection, researching healing from childhood wounds. But whatever it is your life is being turned upside down and left to feel so disconnected, because the only way for you to become a healthy adult, and an adult that can manage relationships and friendships, that can feel connected to people and self, is by reconnecting to yourself. Reconnecting to your own needs, your feelings and your thoughts and your emotions. And you will say, well, I don't want to. Every time I feel things, I feel sad and down. I feel angry when I think about things. And that's the difference. There's a difference between sitting and pondering over your past and allowing that pondering to really grip you, to allowing yourself to sit and journal or sit and reflect, allowing yourself to start a new process of something called pendulation, teaching yourself or allowing someone like myself to teach you how to lean into a painful emotion, feel it, validate it, and then lean out of it by going off, 1 hour, lean into that emotion, validate it, write about it, feel it, and then after that hour, off you go. See friends, watch TV, rest, sleep. And that builds your tolerance window up. It builds a window of resistance where you can start dealing with more stress. You are potentially in a period of your life where you're struggling with stress, you're struggling with dealing with your emotions, and everything just feels like it's on top of you. And that's because you're being told now you have 2 choices. You live in denial and you carry on as you are and you stay unhappy. Or you actively start to seek out ways of healing. And that could be healing through YouTube, through podcasts, through going on my YouTube, The Spiritual Hub, another one I have, which gives you videos on how to start healing, how to start recognizing pain, how to start recognizing new behaviors. You can't create new behaviors just through CBT therapy, because CBT therapy, or any therapy that focuses on the mind, teaches you to believe that you can only that you can heal through the mind. You can't heal through the mind alone. The mind is a powerful tool, but the mind is a sum of parts. Your arm is a sum of parts. Your body is made up of a sum of parts. If you try and believe that just focusing on one part of that whole sum, you're going to heal, it's wrong. You've got to start feeling. You've got to start coming into your body. You've got to start learning new ways of connecting. So pile 3, what guidance do we have for pile 3? So your life is being turned upside down so you can learn to rebuild it. Oh yeah, absolutely. You're going through massive transition stage, not page. Maybe there's a page on it. You're going through a transition stage that feels really painful at the moment. Now, every transition we go through, if you allow it, will teach you something. Now, if you just try and get through every transition and every time something goes wrong, you just try and get to the other side, you'll be forever waiting for the next bad thing to happen to try and get through. Learning to experience life and be a part of the journey and to flow into the times that are challenging, because every challenging time does have something to teach you. Not every challenging time has meaning. Like, we can't say that losing a child solely happened so you could build resilience and solely happened so you could learn something great from it, because actually that's hugely traumatic, isn't it? It wouldn't be for anyone to say that was the sole reason that happened. Sometimes there is no reason, but there is things you can take from it. It's not about giving everything meaning to try and justify why something should happen, because that bypasses the grieving process, that bypasses and tries to come away from it. But if you grieve, whatever it is you're grieving, an old sense of self, pain, but you also choose to take something from it, choose to create meaning from that. For instance, you leave a boyfriend because they were abusive. Well, you could just leave the boyfriend because they're abusive, rebuild your life, and then end up accidentally meeting another abusive boyfriend, or potentially becoming abusive yourself, because you haven't healed from the wounds that came from the abuse. Now, if you left that boyfriend and you started to reflect, why did I choose him? Why did I bypass some of his behaviours? Do I have low self-worth? Do I actively need to recognise my behaviour so I can know who I am and what I bring to the plate, and I can realise what I deserve? Do I need to understand about red flags? Every situation has the scope for you to be able to reflect, learn something. Maybe not initially, but definitely in the end. You have and will always get through your hard times, and that I will say. I mean, pile 3, you have already been through so many hard things But one of the things that you may do, pile 3, is you focus on over supporting other people without supporting yourself. And this takes you away from healing your stuff. While you focus on other people and their problems and helping them and supporting them, children, friends, whatever, every time you turn your focus external to your life, you are taking away, hold on, I need a drink, sorry. You are taking away the need to start reflecting internally. And people will find a whole host of things to keep themselves busy so they don't have to self-reflect. Always going out with their friends, always being busy, doing housework, being busy going to work, doing housework, spending time with friends, going to... Sorry, pile 3, my battery went, so I had to restart. I'm putting your battery in. You will potentially avoid being with yourself at all costs. You'll either have the TV on, you'll be scrolling the internet, you'll be always doing something to keep your external mind busy. And what this does is this suppresses. This suppresses emotions, feelings, and this keeps you caught in a trap of reaction instead of action. And reaction means you suppress, and then you just blow up. You get angry, you withdraw, you push people away, you hate people, you're fed up of life. Because instead of allowing yourself to connect to yourself regularly and recognize what your needs are and what you need to learn, you're constantly busy. So the energy within your life is the energy now of healing, learning. And you may already be doing some of this work. Oh wow, what a beautiful card. I just asked, what have you got coming on this pile? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This tells me if you do start that healing or continue that healing of reflection, of growth, of observation in your life, you will become emotionally content. This is saying to me here that hard work, I mean, I know this myself in my own life. Hard work, and I'm not saying monetary, by the way, I'm saying emotionally. Hard work pays off. When you connect to yourself emotionally and when you give to yourself emotionally and you start healing yourself, you become a version of yourself that is authentic and you're so proud to be. And this is saying here that already you need to look at the hard work that you've put in. So this tells me already that you have been doing work. You have been progressing in your life and you have been healing. But the hardest thing is, healing doesn't ever stop you going through things. Healing just teaches you how to deal with it in a healthier way. Healing teaches you how to process it. And this is saying here, not to look at the past and everything that's gone wrong. Yes, reflect on it, feel it, journal it. But you do also need to focus on the present. What have you created in the present? Who are you? Use your past experiences to bring something to your future. Look at the world. Pile 3, I feel like I want to say to you, some of your experiences you could actually help others with. And this may not resonate with everybody, but you could actually help others with. There is something here, it's almost like the tables will turn. You will learn counselling, or you want to take a group, or you want to start using your experiences to help other people. Even if that isn't in a working role, but being able to know that your experiences aren't meaningless. They have taught you so much. And to be honest, you have grown so much. And there is more growing that is going to happen. And this is why you're going through this undercurrent energy. Not because you're not going to get through it, pile 3, because I absolutely see that you are, but because you really need to double down on what you're learning from it. The same lesson will occur time and time again, not just so you can learn about the lesson, because the lesson isn't always what you learn externally about it. Part of that lesson is, how are you going to show up differently to it? Sometimes the lesson stops becoming so external, it starts becoming, how are you going to show up to it? Because that lesson will show you what it needs to do to heal. And then once it's done that, that lesson will show you how you need to show up differently. And you'll know whether you've learned a lesson or not by how do you react to that? So, for example, you have an argument with somebody and once upon a time you was reactive. Then you went to not saying anything and suppressive. Then you went to, okay, I'm going to start saying how I feel. And then you thought, actually, I've got to step back because this is not changing and this person keeps bringing arguments to me. And then every time in the future they brought an argument to you, you didn't show up to the argument. Because you realised, actually, you could argue with that person every day. You could have a disagreement with that person every day, but it would never change the dominant part of them. They would never take accountability or look at it different. So it's only ever worth showing up to a disagreement if there is going to be something that comes from it, such as growth or an understanding on a deeper level. But if you're being led to be brought up to every argument just for the sake of arguing, and you choose to not show up for that, meaning, I'm not here, I'm not going to argue with you, I'm going to let you go now, or recognising in yourself that having your say does not make a difference, so don't have it. Whereas once upon a time, you would have been in the energy of, no, I will have my say. No, I will not let you get away with what you've just done. Growth is realising the difference between standing up for yourself and realising there's no point. We don't need to show up to everything pole 3 you're invited to. You don't always need to get the last word in. You don't always need to say how you feel. You have to weigh up each and every situation. So some of the lessons are, how are you going to show up differently? How are you going to deal with that lesson? So pile 3, that's the energy that you're in right now. So if you can take that then, or if there's any aspect of the reading you really connect to, then please do pop a comment underneath. I really love building communities. I've got one on Facebook and TikTok, and I'm really hoping that this healing community here can be built up too. And I thank every single one of you for watching me and for enjoying my readings. So I'm hoping that you've taken something from it. If you are wanting to join my other communities, then do pop on over to TikTok or Facebook. I am known as the Spiritual Hub over there, and I have got a Spiritual Hub YouTube, which is based on videos for healing and meditations. And this page is solely based on readings. Thank you. I hope to see you in future readings.